Welcome. Let us enter into our third part of group theory. In this third part, I am going to explain the problems relating to the group theory. Right. How the problems will be asked. The problems will be asked in the form of statements, and we have to prove the statements. Right. If I go to the first problem, see the title, solve the problems on groups. If I go to the first problem, see the statement carefully, show that the set S is equal to 3 power n such that n belongs to Z is a commutative group with respect to multiplication. We have to understand the statement very clearly and very carefully. Right. What is to be proved and what is that they have given. See here, the given part is the set S is 3 power n such that n belongs to Z. It is given, and other one is given, multiplication. See, in group theory we are very much in need of two terms. One is given set and the given operation. Here the set is S and the operation is multiplication. What is to be proved? We have to prove that the set S is a commutative group. Right. If I enter into the solution part, I have written the given set S is equal to 3 power n such that n belongs to Z. Right. So in set S, the elements are not yet generated. The elements are in standard form. So let us generate the elements of set S. How to generate the elements of set S? The elements in set S are in the form of 3 power n where n belongs to Z. The elements of set S are depending upon the set of integers Z. Right. Therefore, let us take the set of integers. The set of integers are negative integers, positive integers, and a neutral integer. Right. If I substitute all those integers in place of n in 3 power n, the elements of set S will be generated. Right. Here I have generated the elements of set S. Set S is equal to so on 3 power minus 2, 3 power minus 1, 3 power 0, 3 power 1, 3 power 2 and so on. So the elements of set S are generated and the given operation is multiplication. Right. Now let us go to the part which is to be proved. We have to prove that the set S is an abelian group with respect to multiplication. So we have to recall the previous definitions of an abelian group. Abelian group should satisfy closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property and commutative property with respect to given operation. Right. Set S should satisfy all these 5 properties with respect to multiplication. Right. To prove these properties, we should be well aware of the previous law of exponents, that is a power m into a power n is equal to a power m plus n. Right. So if I go to the first property, closure property. What does closure property state? Closure property states that if we take any two random elements from given set, that is from set S, and if we operate with this given operation, that is multiplication, then the resultant value should be present in set S. So I have taken two elements, that is 3 power n, 3 power m belong to set S for n comma m belong to Z. So if we see the set S, the elements are in the form of 3 power n where n belongs to Z. That is why I have taken two elements from Z, that is n comma m, and I have taken two elements from set S taking upon depending upon the values n comma n. That is the two elements of set S are 3 power n into 3 power m. Right. Now I operate these two elements with operation into. Right. Here I have operated 3 power n into 3 power m is equal to 3 power n plus m. Here I have used the condition a power n into a power n is equal to a power n plus m. Right. 3 power n into 3 power m is equal to 3 power n plus m. For this belongs to set S. For n plus m belongs to Z. Right. Why? Because for n comma m belong to Z, n plus m belongs to Z. It is a closure property in set Z with respect to operation addition. Therefore, we have used the closure property with respect to addition in set of integers Z, and I have placed here n plus m. So 3 power n plus m is also in the form of 3 power m, which is the standard form of element of set S. Therefore 3 power n into 3 power m is equal to 3 power n plus m, which will be present in set S. Why? Because for n comma m belong to Z, n plus m belongs to Z. Therefore here I conclude that S comma into is closed. Right. The closure property is finished. If I go to the next property, associative property, what does associative property state? A star of B star C is equal to A star B of star C. For every A comma B comma C belongs to G. Here G is S. Instead of G we have to take S, and instead of three elements A comma B comma C, I have taken the elements 3 power n, 3 power m, 3 power p belongs to set S. For the exponents n, m, p belong to set Z. I have substituted these three elements in left hand side of property of associative property, right? 3 power n into of 3 power m into 3 power p. It can be written as 3 power n into, here law of exponents is applied, 3 power n plus p, right? Here right hand side, if we observe carefully, 3 power n into 3 power n plus p can be written as 3 power n plus of m plus p. Here if I go to this exponent, it is in the form of left side associative property of z with respect to addition. Therefore n plus of m plus p can be written as n plus m of plus p. Why? Because for any three integers, n plus of m plus p will be equal to n plus m of plus p. Therefore right hand side, instead of 3 power n plus of m plus p, I have taken 3 power n plus m of plus p, right? Here this, it is in the form of 3 power m plus n. So it can be written as 3 power m into 3 power n. Instead of m, it is n plus m, right? Here it is 3 power n plus m into 3 power p, right? Here again it can be split into 3 power n into 3 power m, right? 3 power into 3 power m of into 3 power p. Therefore left hand side part, I have considered 3 power n into of 3 power m into 3 power p, and right hand side I have brought it into 3 power n into 3 power m of into 3 power p. Therefore for 3 elements of set S, 3 power n into 3 power m into 3 power p of set S, for n comma m comma p belong to Z, I have proved that 3 power n of 3 power m into 3 power p is equal to 3 power n into 3 power m of 3 power p. For 3 power n, 3 power m, 3 power p belongs to set S. Therefore associative property is being satisfied by the elements of set S with respect to multiplication, right? If I move on to the next property, that is third property, identity property. In set S, we have to find out an identity element. So here the given operation is multiplication. With respect to multiplication, we definitely know that 1 is the multiplicative identity. So we have to search for this 1 in set S, right? If we go to set S, again once again 3 power 0. So 3 power 0 is the disguised form of identity element 1 with respect to multiplication. Therefore we clearly know from the elements of set S that 1 is contained. 1 is multiplicative identity with respect to multiplication. Therefore 1 is present in set S. Here we directly conclude that in set S, for 0 belongs to Z, 3 power 0 belongs to set S. 3 power n into 3 power 0 is equal to 3 power n into 1. So 3 power n into 1 is 3 power n. Again this 3 power n can be written as 1 into 3 power n. This 1 is written as 3 power 0 into 3 power 0 into 3 power n. Therefore on the whole, if we combine 3 power n into 3 power 0, this 3 power n and 3 power 0 into 3 power n, and write as one condition, it will be the property of identity. Therefore here we have got the identity property in set S. 3 power n into 3 power 0 is equal to 3 power n is equal to 3 power 0 into 3 power n. For 3 power n belongs to set S, for n belongs to Z. Therefore in set S, the identity element is found, it is 3 power 0. Therefore here we can conclude that S comma star or S comma into satisfies identity property. This states that the set S satisfies identity property with respect to multiplication. If we go for the next fourth property, that is inverse property. So what does inverse property state? If we take any element of set S, we should find out an element in set S which should be the multiplicative inverse of the taken element. If I take A from set S, I have to find out element B from set S which should be a multiplicative inverse, and if we operate these two A and B, we should get multiplicative identity, that is 1. That is, if I take A into B, we should get the resultant value as 1. So let us take two elements of set S, that is 3 power n into 3 power minus n. As we know that for n belongs to Z, minus n belongs to Z. Therefore, for n comma minus n belongs to Z, 3 power n comma 3 power minus n belongs to set S. Now I consider 3 power n into 3 power minus n. This can be written as 3 power of n plus of minus n. It is law of exponent, right? N plus of minus is minus, n minus n gives 0. Therefore, I have written this as 3 power 0. Again, this 3 power 0 can be written as 3 power minus n plus n. Minus n plus n, right? It is equal to 3 power minus n into 3 power n. Here I have applied again the law of exponent. Therefore, if I combine these 3 power n into 3 power minus n is equal to 3 power 0 is equal to 3 power minus n into 3 power n. Here it is the property of inverse property for all the elements of set S. Therefore, here I conclude that S satisfies inverse property with respect to multiplication. So in general, I write that S comma into satisfies inverse property. And the last property is commutative property. It is the fifth property. So to prove this property, let us take two elements. Those are 3 power n comma 3 power m in set S. This set is symbol is belongs to 3 power n into 3 power m belongs to set S. For n comma m belong to Z. Let us consider 3 power n into 3 power m. So if we use the law of exponents, we get 3 power n plus m. This n plus m can be written as m plus n for n comma m belongs to Z. Why? Because in set of integers, all the elements satisfy the commutative property with respect to addition. Therefore, this n plus m, which is in the exponent part of 3 power n plus m, it can be written as 3 power m plus n. Applying the commutative property of element set Z with respect to addition. Therefore, n plus m is replaced with m plus n. Therefore, 3 power n into 3 power m is equal to 3 power m into 3 power n. It is the commutative property with respect to multiplication in set S. Therefore, all the elements of set S are satisfying the commutative property with respect to multiplication. Therefore, I concluded that S comma into is commutative. Therefore, if we see these 5 properties, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, the set S is satisfying all the 5 properties which a abelian group or commutative group should satisfy. Therefore, here we can conclude that S comma into is an abelian group. Right. Here I would like to explain that we should be very much cautious while proving the identity property and the inverse property in this kind of problems. Right. Let us move to the second problem. See, the problem has the statement prove that the set of even integers is an abelian group with respect to usual addition as operation. The same statement, it can be asked in other way, like if G is set of even integers, that is G is equal to so on minus 4, minus 2, 0, 2, 4 and so on, then prove that G is an abelian group with respect to usual addition as operation. So, while proving the theoretical problems in group theory, we should be very much cautious about the given part and the part which is to be proved. Here, the given part contains two. One is set G and the other is the operation. Here, the set G is even integers and the operation is usual addition. So, what is to be proved? We have to prove that the set of even integers is an abelian group with respect to addition. So, let us go into the solution part. So, what should we write in the starting part of solution? Let us write the given part. The given part is set of even integers. G is equal to, they have already generated the elements of set G. So, G contains the elements dot 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 minus 4, minus 2, 0, 2, 4, comma and so on. Right. And the given operation is usual addition, that is plus. So let us go to the part which is to be proved. So before going to the part which is to be proved, let us take the 3 elements of set G in general. So the 3 general elements are A, B, C belongs to set G. So as they are even integers, the even integers will be in the form of 2x, 2y, 2z where x comma y comma z belongs to set of integers. If x belongs to z, 2x is even integer. If y belongs to z, 2y is even integer. If z belongs to capital Z, then 2z is even integer. That is why I have taken three elements a, b, c in form of 2x, 2y, 2z for x comma y comma z belongs to capital Z. Right. So I have taken these three elements to prove the five properties of an abelian group. So the first property is closure property. For closure property, we need two elements, general elements of set G. I have taken two elements, a comma b belongs to G, where a will be in the form of 2x, b will be in the form of 2y. So I have considered this operation, a plus b belongs to G. Why? Because the operation is usual addition. For closure property, we have to combine two elements with this addition. So I combined this a comma b with plus. Since a is in the form of 2x, b is in the form of 2y, I combine with plus. Therefore, it will be 2x plus 2y belongs to G. 2 of x plus y. I am taking these two common out. So I am writing it as 2 of x plus y belongs to G. So here we take a diversion from this main step, stating that for x comma y belongs to z, x plus y belongs to z. Here, if x plus y belongs to z, then 2 of x plus y will be even integer, and that even integer will be present in set G. Therefore, here I have taken x plus y separately and have taken this x comma y from z. So here we concluded that x comma y belongs to z, x plus y belongs to z by closure property of addition in set of integers z. Therefore, 2 of x plus y is also an even integer in set G. Therefore, this 2 of x plus y is even integer in set G. Therefore, G comma plus is closed. So, for a comma b belongs to G, a plus b belongs to G, where a is in the form of 2x, b is in the form of 2y. So, a plus b will be 2x plus 2y, and that 2x plus 2y, 2 will be taken common out, 2 of x plus y. This 2 of x plus y is a even integer, and this even integer will be present in set G for x comma y belongs to set of integers z. Therefore, here I conclude that G comma plus is closed. So if I go to the next property, that is associative property, to prove this associative property, we have to take three elements from set G, which will be in the general form. So I have taken a comma b comma c belongs to G. A will be in the form of 2x, b will be in the form of 2y, c will be in the form of 2z. For x comma y comma z belongs to capital Z. So if I go to the closure property, that is left hand side, it will be a plus of b plus c. Right, in place of a, I wrote 2x, in place of b, I wrote 2y, in place of c, I have taken 2z. That is, substituting the values of a, b, c in this left hand part of associative property. I have got 2x plus of 2y plus 2z. So, let us simplify the terms in this square brackets. Right, here, y in 2y plus 2z, 2 is common. So, if I take 2 common out, see 2x is written as it is, and taking 2 common out, we get 2 of y plus z. See again here, it is 2 which is common in these both terms. Therefore, I take this 2 common out, and it is written as 2 of x plus of y plus z. Right, a plus of b plus c is equal to 2 of x plus of y plus z. Right, we know that x plus of y plus z is equal to x plus y of plus z for x comma y comma z belongs to capital Z. So, x plus of y plus z, it is the associative property of set of integers z with respect to addition. That is, it is left hand side part. So, left hand side part will be equal to, see here, x plus of y plus z is equal to x plus y of plus z. So, here in this square brackets, instead of x plus of y plus z, in the next step we have to replace it with x plus y of plus z. By replacing the terms on right hand side, we get x plus y of plus z. But on the whole on right hand side, we get 2 into x plus y of plus z. If we multiply this 2, that is distributing this 2 to first term and next term, we get 2 of x plus y plus 2z. Right, multiplying this 2 with x and y, we get 2x plus 2y plus 2z. Right, instead of 2x we write a, instead of 2y we write b, instead of 2z we write c. That is, these are the standard symbols which are used at the beginning of this problem. Therefore, on the whole, we have proved that a plus of b plus c is equal to a plus b of plus c for a comma b comma c belongs to set G. Therefore, by proving this step, we have proved that G satisfies associative property with respect to addition plus. Therefore, I gave a conclusion that G comma plus is associative. Right. The next property is identity property. Right. If we go for identity property, for A belongs to G, there should exist additive identity element 0 belongs to G such that A plus 0 is equal to A is equal to 0 plus A for A belongs to G. Therefore, definitely in our set G, which is defined at the beginning, definitely we can find out an element 0 in G. Therefore, I conclude that G contains additive identity. Therefore, I give a conclusion that G comma plus satisfies identity property with respect to addition. Therefore, identity property is satisfied at this stage. Right. If I go for next property, that is inverse property. For A belongs to G, we have to find out one additive inverse element in G, that is minus A belongs to G, such that A plus of minus A. This A and minus A operated with addition. It can be written as 2x plus of minus 2x. This plus of minus is right. Here, instead of plus of minus, we take 2 common out. Then we get 2 of x plus of minus x. Then we get 2 x of minus. So, plus of minus is minus, we get x minus of x. So, x minus of x is 0. Then we get 2 into 0, it is 0. Therefore, A plus of minus A is equal to 0. Therefore, on the whole, we can write it as A plus of minus A is equal to 0 is equal to minus A plus A. Right, in this inverse property, we have proved that A plus its additive inverse is equal to identity element 0 is equal to additive inverse element plus A. For A belongs to G, that is, it is in the form of A star B is equal to E is equal to B star A. Instead of A, we have got A. Instead of B, we have got minus A. Instead of E, we have got 0. And here instead of B, we have got minus A. Instead of A, again we have got A. For A belongs to G. Therefore, here I give a conclusion that G comma plus satisfies inverse property. And the last property is commutative property. What does commutative property state? If I take 2 elements and if it is operated by an element star, A star B, it should be equal to B star A. So, right, here I have taken 2 elements from our set G. Therefore, for A comma B belongs to G, consider A plus B is equal to. At the beginning, A is defined as 2x. At the beginning, B is defined as 2y. Therefore, operating this 2x and 2y with plus 2x plus 2y. Here taking 2 common out, x plus y. Here x plus y should be taken separately, and we have to consider this x plus y. Right, this x plus y will be equal to y plus x. Why? Because for x comma y belongs to set of integers. Set of integers satisfy commutative property with respect to addition. Therefore, x plus y can be replaced with y plus x. Therefore, in the next step, instead of x plus y, I write it as y plus x. Right, 2 into y plus x. See, in this previous step, it is x plus y, and in this step, it is y plus x. Right, here we multiply 2 y and 2 with x. We get 2y plus 2x. Here, instead of 2y, we can write b. Instead of 2x, we can write a. Therefore, here we have proved that a plus b is equal to b plus a for a comma b belongs to G. Therefore, G comma plus satisfies commutative property. Therefore, in this problem, on the whole, we have proved the 5 properties. One is closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property, and commutative property. Therefore, in general, I give a main conclusion that G comma plus is an abelian group. So, I repeat once again. Whenever we are proving the statements of a given problem, we should be very much cautious while proving the identity property and inverse property. Why? Because in every set with respect to given operation, there is only one identity, and in every set with respect to given operation, for every element there is only one inverse. Therefore, we should be very much cautious while proving the identity property and inverse property while proving the problems. Now, let us go to the third problem in this part of group theory. Right? What is the statement in this problem 3? Show that it is a short form of show that ST, show that the set G is equal to x plus y into root 3 such that x comma y belongs to Q. What does Q state? Q is a set of rational numbers. For x comma y belong to Q, x plus y into root 3 will be the element in set G. That is, the elements in the set G are the form of x plus y into root 3. So, it is a given set. We have to prove that this set G is a group with respect to addition, and they have given 3 elements. The forms of 3 elements, that is A, B, C. A is in the form of x1 plus y1 root 3. B is in the form of x2 plus y2 root 3. C is in the form of x3 plus y3 root 3. So, to reduce our difficulty, they have given 3 elements so that we can prove this problem very easily. So, see here, what are x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3? They only given that xi comma yi belongs to Q for I is equal to 1, 2, 3. xi comma yi, that is x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3 belongs to set of rational numbers, right? If I go to the solution part, first I have written given set G is equal to x plus y root 3 for x comma y belongs to set of rational numbers. Given operation is addition. So in given part I have taken two. One is given set and the other is the operation. Right. If I go to the first property, what is first property? Closure property. So what does closure property state? Closure property states that if we take any 2 elements from given set and if we operate with the given operation, the resultant element should be present in the given set. Right. Here I am taking the 2 elements. One is A and the other is B. A is in the form of x1 plus y1 root 3. B is in the form of x2 plus y2 root 3. Belongs to set G and operating those 2 elements with plus. A plus B is equal to, instead of A, I took x1 plus y1 root 3. Instead of B, I took x2 plus y2 root 3. Right. So taking off the brackets, I get x1 plus y1 root 3. Here I get x2 plus y2 root 3. In between we are taking plus. So x1 plus x2 plus y1 root 3 plus y2 root 3. I am taking x1 plus x2 as one term plus y1 plus y2 into root 3 as the next term. Therefore, the resultant value is in the form of x plus y root 3. So a plus b is in the form of x plus y root 3. Here x is in the form of x1 plus x2, y is in the form of y1 plus y2. Therefore, here I give a conclusion for x1, x2 and y1, y2. For x1 comma x2 belongs to Q, x1 plus x2 belongs to Q. For y1 comma y2 belongs to Q, y1 plus y2 belongs to Q. Therefore, in general, for closure property, here I write that a plus b is equal to x1 plus x2 of plus root 3 into y1 plus y2 belongs to G. Therefore, here it states that a plus b belongs to G for a comma b belongs to G. Therefore, here we can conclude that G comma plus E is closed. So, here the closure property is finished. If I go to the next property, that is associative property, I have to take the 3 elements A, B and C, which are in the form of x1 plus y1 root 3, B in the form of x2 plus y2 root 3, C in the form of x3 plus y3 root 3. Here in G, if I take these 3 values of A, B, C on left hand side of associative property, that is in A plus of B plus C. Right, instead of A, I am taking x1 plus y1 root 3 plus in brackets instead of B, I have taken x2 plus y2 root 3. Instead of C, I have taken x3 plus y3 root 3. Right, I am taking brackets off. Then we get x1 plus y1 root 3 plus x2 plus y2 root 3 plus x3 plus y3 root 3. Right, here again I am taking the elements which are without root 3. That is x1, x2, x3 as one term, y1 root 3 plus y2 root 3 plus y3 root 3. Right. Here on the whole we can write it as x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus y1 plus y2 plus y3 into root 3. It is left hand value of associative property. Right. In the same way, if we take the right hand side part of associative property, that is a plus b of plus c, and if we substitute the same values of a, b, c, then we get the same value x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus of y1 plus y2 plus y3 into root 3. Therefore, here we can conclude as similarly we can show that that a plus b of plus c is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus of y1 plus y2 plus y3 of root 3. Right. Here on the whole, for associative property, we can give a general conclusion that a plus b of plus c is equal to a plus of b plus c for a comma b comma c belongs to set G. Therefore, G plus E is associative. Right. This statement is relating to this problem. Right. The next property is identity property. Sorry. Right. So, I already told you that we should be very cautious while proving identity property. That is, in set G, we have to search for the identity element. That is with respect to given operation. See, observe carefully what is the given operation is addition. So, we generally know that with respect to addition, 0 is identity element. So, definitely 0 is present in set G if we think very carefully. That is, the 0 will be in disguised form in this set G. 0 can be written as 0 plus 0 root 3 for 0 comma 0 belong to Q. So, in G, there is an element 0 which is additive identity element which is in disguised form. It can be written as 0 plus 0 root 3. Therefore, by taking this calculation in our mind, we conclude in identity property that for x plus y root 3 belong to G, there exists an identity element with respect to addition, that is 0 plus 0 root 3 belongs to G such that x plus y root 3 plus of 0 plus 0 root 3 is equal to x plus y root 3. Right. I underline this statement. It is in the form of a plus e is equal to a. I write here a plus e is equal to a. It is in the form of a plus e is equal to a. Instead of a, it is x plus y root 3. Instead of e, it is 0 plus 0 root 3. Again here on right hand side, instead of a, it is x plus y root 3. Therefore, 0 plus 0 root 3 is additive identity element in G. Therefore, here I conclude that G comma plus satisfies identity property. This says that G satisfies identity property with respect to addition. And right, and the next property is inverse property. So, I take x plus y root 3. So, in our mind, we have to get a clear calculation about the inverse element of x and the inverse element of y. Why? Because x comma y are elements of Q, that is rational numbers. For x belongs to Q and y belongs to Q, there is minus x comma minus y belongs to Q. Why? Because additive inverse of x in Q is minus x, additive inverse of y in Q is minus y. Therefore, here minus x plus of minus y root 3 belongs to G such that x plus y root 3 plus of minus x plus of minus y root 3 is equal to x minus x is 0, y minus y is 0 and the root 3 is taken common out. Therefore, it is in the form of a star b is equal to e. Therefore, b instead of b minus x plus of minus y root 3 is present, which is inverse of x plus y root 3 and vice versa. Here we can take this x plus y root 3 as additive inverse of minus x plus of minus y root 3 in our set G. Therefore, here I give a conclusion that G comma plus satisfies inverse property. So, we should not prove the problem very much blindly. We have to see the statement very clearly. What is to be proved? What is to be proved? We have to prove that the set G is a group with respect to addition. So, here the four properties which are to be proved for a group are closure, associative, identity and inverse. Therefore, we have proved those four properties for set G for given operation addition. Therefore, we can clearly conclude that G comma plus is a group. Now, let us move on to the next problem in group theory. It is the fourth problem. See the statement clearly. Show that G is equal to the set of matrices which are in the form of A, 0, 0, 0 such that where A is not equal to 0, it is an element of real number set capital R. This set of matrices which is equated to G is to be proved as abelian group under multiplication. So, I will read this question once again. Show that G is equal to the set of matrices which are in the form of A, 0, 0, 0 such that A not equal to 0 belong to R is an abelian group under multiplication. Here, the set G is set of matrices and the operation is multiplication. And what is to be proved is G is a group with respect to multiplication. So we should recall the four properties. One is closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property, and the commutative property. Since we have to prove that G is an abelian group. So before going to the solution part, let us see the elements in G. For example, so A is not equal to 0, belongs to R. So in place of A, 0 should not appear. Instead of 0, any real number should appear. So I have taken 1 0 0 0, minus 1 0 0 0 0, minus 3 by 4 0 0 0, root 3 0 0 0 0. So one is positive real number, one is negative real number, one is rational number, the other is irrational value. So for four kinds of values of real numbers, I have defined the matrices. So in this set G, we will find out these kind of infinite number of matrices. So we have to prove that this set of G is a abelian group under multiplication. So let us go for the first property, that is closure property. Closure property. What does closure property state? If we take any two random matrices from set G and if we multiply, the resultant matrix should be again present in set G. So let us take capital A as A000, capital B as B000 belongs to G. Here A and B, A comma B are non-zero elements which are present in real numbers. So if I go for multiplication of matrices AB, A000 into B000, it gives AB000. So this AB is again a real number. Why? Because since A comma B are non-zero real values, so by closure property with respect to multiplication in real numbers, for A comma B belongs to R, AB will be present in R. Therefore, this AB000, which is not equal to 0, will be present in set R. Therefore, this matrix will be present in the defined set G of matrices. See the reason I have written here. Since AB is not equal to 0 belongs to R, therefore G comma cross is closed. So with this statement, we can conclude that this set G of matrices is satisfying the closure property with respect to multiplication. So let us go for the next property, that is associative property. I have taken three matrices, capital A, capital B, capital C, which are present in set G, where small a, small b, small c are non-zero values which are present in real number set. So the left hand side of closure properties, A of BC is equal to, instead of A I have taken the matrix A, and instead of B and C in square brackets I have taken those respective matrices B0 0 0, C0 0 0. So on multiplication we get on right hand side A 0 0 0 in square brackets. If I multiply these two matrices, it will be in the form of BC 0 0 0. Right. Again, by these two matrices multiplication, we get A of BC 0 0 0. So here I will take a small or slight diversion by stating the property of this element A of BC. Right. Since I have already written here that A, B, C are non-zero elements of real number set, the same I have written here. So the set of real numbers will satisfy associative property with respect to multiplication. Therefore, A of BC will be equal to AB of C. So instead of this A of BC in this matrices, in the next step it will be replaced by AB of C 0 0 0. Right. Therefore, capital A of capital BC, it will be equal to AB of C 0 0 0. Right. Here it is equal to, in this main brackets, this AB of C 0 0 0 can be written as A 0 0 0 B 0 0 0 into C 0 0 0. Right. Therefore, here in this main brackets, it is the form of capital A into capital B. Right. Capital A into capital B. In out of these brackets, it is capital C. Therefore,
On left hand side we have taken capital A of capital BC is equal to, we have proved that capital AB of capital C. Therefore, it is the property of associativity with respect to multiplication. I have given a conclusion that A G comma star is associative. This says that the set G of matrices is satisfying the associative property with respect to multiplication. Right. Let us go for identity property. We know that 1 0 0 0 is the identity matrix, square identity matrix 2 by 2, which is of order 2. But here in this capital G, which are in the matrices which are in the form of A 0 0 0, we should not blindly conclude that 1 0 0 1 is the identity element in this set of matrices G. Why? Because the set of matrices G is a special kind of set which is containing different matrices which are in the form of A000, where A is not equal to 0 belong to set of real number set capital R. Therefore, we have to verify all the matrices and we have to pick out the identity matrix. So, it is a laborious process. So, I have given the ready-made value, that is the identity matrix, which is in the form of capital I is equal to 1 0 0 0, right? If we go for verification in rough work, and if we multiply any matrix of capital G with this capital I is equal to 1 0 0 0, then we will be getting the verification like this. Capital A into I is equal to A0 0 0 into 1 0 0 0. It is again A. It is equal to 1 0 0 0 into A0 0 0. Right. If we observe carefully, whole of this equal to value. It is in the form of small a into E is equal to A is equal to small e into A, right? Instead of small a, the matrix A0 0 0 is present. Instead of E, 1 0 0 0 is present. So, it is identity property. AE is equal to A is equal to EA. For every A belong to G, E belong to G, right? Where E is the identity property. Therefore, we have found out which matrix is the identity matrix. The identity matrix is 1 0 0 0, and here 1 is not equal to 0, 1 is not equal to 0, which belongs to set of real number set. Therefore, definitely this I will be present in the set G of matrices which is defined at the beginning stage. I conclude here that G comma into satisfies identity property. If we move on to the next property, it is inverse property. Here also it is a laborious work. Why? Because for every matrix A in capital G of matrices, we have to pick out one matrix which is inverse of the matrix A, such that if the matrix A and its inverse is multiplied, we should get the identity matrix 1 0 0 0, right? See here, for every capital A is equal to A0 0 0 belongs to set of matrices G. There exists A inverse is equal to 1 by A into 0 0 0. Here 1 by A is not equal to 0 belongs to R. Why? Because 1 by A is, it is in the form of P by Q, which is a ratio number form, and where A is not equal to 0, definitely this 1 by A will be present in set of real numbers in R, which is not equal to 0. Therefore, if we take any matrix A which is in the form of A0 0 0 belonging to G, if its inverse will exist, which will be in the form of 1 by A 0 0 0. Simply we cannot define this A inverse as inverse of capital A. We have to go for verification part. That is, if A into A inverse is multiplied, we should get identity matrix. So, let us see the verification. A into A inverse is equal to A0 0 0. Its inverse is 1 by A 0 0 0. It gives 1 0 0 0. Here, it is written as I. Why? Because in previous property itself, we have declared that capital I is equal to 1 0 0 0 is identity matrix. Therefore, if we multiply these two matrices, definitely we are getting capital I, which is identity matrix in this set of matrices G. And if I verify in reverse order, A inverse into A is equal to, again, here it is A inverse into A, it is again 1 0 0 0, which is again it is equal to capital I. Therefore, here we have proved the inverse property which states in the form capital A into A inverse is equal to I is equal to A inverse into capital A for every A belong to G. Therefore, for any matrix capital A in set of matrices G there exists A inverse. Therefore here we can conclude that G comma into satisfies inverse property. Right. I will move to the next property, that is commutative property. What does commutative property state? The commutative property states that AB is equal to BA for every A comma B belong to set of matrices G. I am taking capital A is equal to A0 0 0, capital B is equal to B0 0 0 belong to G. So I am taking the left hand side of commutative property. I am considering that AB is equal to, right, instead of A0 0 0, instead of B0 0 0. If we multiply this in closure property, if we multiply two matrices capital AB, we get the matrix in form of AB 0 0 0 0. Right here, AB is not equal to 0 belong to set of real numbers capital R. Therefore, this AB 0 0 0 will be present in set of matrices capital G. Right here, I will take a slight diversion stating about this element AB. Right. Since A comma B are not equal to 0 belong to set of real numbers set R, therefore in set of real numbers with respect to multiplication the elements satisfy the commutative property. Therefore by commutative property this AB A dot B can be written as B dot A for every A comma B belong to set of real number set R where these two elements are not equal to 0. Therefore here on right hand side of this capital AB is equal to AB 0 0 0. Instead of AB we write it as BA. See here I have written here AB is equal to AB 0 0 0 is equal to BA 0 0 0. Right. I will split up this single matrix into product of two matrices as B 0 0 0 into A 0 0 0. Right. Instead of this first matrix, I will take capital B. Instead of the second matrix, I will take matrix capital A. Therefore, at the beginning we have considered capital AB, and at the end we have proved that it is equal to BA, which is nothing but it is a commutative property with respect to multiplication of matrices. Here I have concluded by writing AB is equal to BA for every A comma B belong to set of G. What are capital A and capital B? They are matrices. So by this property we have proved that the set G which is containing set of matrices are satisfying the 5 properties which an abelian group should satisfy with respect to multiplication. Therefore here we can conclude that the set G which is set of matrices is an abelian group with respect to multiplication of matrices. Right. I will move on to the next problem. See the statement carefully. Prove the following matrices form group under multiplication of matrices. So the same statement where a slight modification is given by giving 4 matrices. They are capital I, capital A, capital B and capital C, which is a finite set. That is, the set of matrices is containing only 4 matrices. Therefore, the given set G is a finite set. Why? Because it is containing countable number of matrices. They are capital I, capital A, capital B and capital C. For group under multiplication of matrices. The statement is same when compared to the statement in 4th and 5th problem. But the set is infinite in 4th problem and but the set of matrices is finite in this 5th problem. So let us go for solution part. What is given? The set G is equal to capital I, capital A, capital B, capital C, where I is 1 0 0 0. Here it is I is given as the original 2 by 2 identity matrix in set of matrices. Capital A is equal to 1 0 0 minus 1 and capital B is equal to minus 1 0 0 1 and capital C is equal to minus 1 0 0 minus 1. So we have to prove that this set G is containing these 4 matrices is a group under matrix multiplication, right? So it is very easy while proving the finite set as a group by taking a table. Of multiplication of all possibilities of the given 4 elements, that is matrices. Right. Here I have written a table with all combination of multiplications of given 4 matrices. That is why see here I have written a statement here. If all combinations are to be verified with a table which is called as composition table. So here we have introduced a new table called composition table, which will be used in proving the statements in further problems. So it is the first step where we should be knowing well about the composition table, right? See here, there are 4 matrices. So along column wise, I have taken those 4 matrices. Again row wise, I have taken the same 4 matrices, capital I, A, B, C. See the first row, I into I, it is I into A, it is A, I into B, it is B, I into C, it is C. Right. Why? Because I is a 2 by 2 identity matrix. If 2 by 2 identity matrix is multiplied with any 2 by 2 matrix, we get the same 2 by 2 matrix. So we have got I, A, B, C. And here A when multiplied with I, it gives A when multiplied with A, it gives I, A when multiplied with B, it gives C, A when multiplied with C, it gives B. So it is very easy to see here, but it is very difficult when we go for calculation part. That is, when we go for A into A, we have to take the 2 matrices A and we should multiply each other, and we will get minus 1. Sorry, A into A is I. We get 1 0 0 1 5. And see here, it is written as A into B. A into B is equal to C. So if we take original matrix of A and if we take original matrix of B, definitely we will get the C, that is minus 1 0 0 minus 1. That is the meaning of this row. Capital A into I is A, capital A into A is I, capital A into B is C, capital A into C is B. The same if we go for the row of B, B into I is B, B into A is C, B into B is I, B into C is A. So if we go for verification part, B into I is definitely it is equal to B, and the second one is B into A, it is written as C. That is, if we go for original matrix of B and if we substitute here, and if we go for original matrix of A and if we substitute here, if we multiply these 2 matrices, definitely we will get the matrix C. That is, we get minus 1 0 0 minus 1, right? So if we go for filling the other columns in this composition table, we will get C into I is C, C into A is B, C into B is A, C into C is I. Right. The composition table is filled. So I put a star marks for the boundaries of resultant values. See here, this I A B C, A I C B, B C I A, C B A I. Right. So in every row we are getting the same given 4 matrices. See here, I A B C, A I C B, B C I A, C B A I. But the thing is, the order is different in every row. I A B C, A I C B, B C I A, C B A I. Though the order is different, we have got the resultant 4 given matrices. That is, if we multiply in this manner I A B C with I A B C, we are getting the resultant matrices as in this square matrix they are I A B C, A I C B, B C I A, C B A I. Right. Now I am going to the first property, closure property. What does closure property state? If we multiply any 2 matrices, if the resultant matrix is present again in the given set G, then we say that G is satisfying the closure property with respect to multiplication. Right. By seeing the composition table itself, the whole of the resultant matrices are all present in given set G. Therefore, we can directly conclude that the set G is satisfying the closure property with respect to matrix multiplication. Right. That is what I have written here. From this composition table, A into B belong to G. For every A comma B belong to G. Therefore, G comma star is closed. So, by observing the resultant values of this composition table, I concluded that the set G is satisfying the closure property with respect to multiplication. Right. I am going to the next property, that is associative property. Right. I am taking the three matrices capital A comma capital B comma capital C which are present in set G, and I am substituting in capital A of BC is equal to capital AB of C. For every A comma B comma C belong to G. Here I concluded E comma star is associated directly. Why? Because the set of matrices is always associated with respect to multiplication. Therefore, I concluded that these four matrices will satisfy the associative property with respect to multiplication. Therefore, the conclusion is G comma star is associative. Right. I am going to the next property, that is identity property. They have directly given the square identity matrix, that is 1 0 0 1, which is present in set G. Therefore, if this matrix is multiplied the rest with the rest of matrices, with the rest of three matrices, that is A, B, C, we get AI is equal to IA, comma BI is equal to B is equal to IB, comma Ci is equal to C is equal to IC. Therefore, it is identity property of matrix capital A. It is identity matrix with respect. It is identity property with respect to matrix G. It is identity property with respect to matrix C. Therefore, definitely this set G is containing the identity matrix, that is 1 0 0 1 is identity matrix. Therefore, as G is containing the identity matrix, we conclude that G comma into is satisfy the identity property with respect to multiplication. Right. If I move on to the next property, that is inverse property. For every matrix in set G, it should contain an inverse matrix. Right. What does that mean? If capital A is taken, we should find out its inverse, that is A inverse, and if we multiply those two matrices, that is A into A inverse, the resultant matrix should be capital I, that is 1 0 0 1. Right. If we observe this composition table, I into I is I. See here, it is the resultant matrix. That is, therefore, the inverse of I is I itself. Next, I am going to the next row, that is A row. Here I is present. So we have to see with which matrix A is to be multiplied so that the resultant matrix is I. A is multiplied with A, therefore the resultant matrix is I. I am going for the next row, that is Bth row. Here I is present. So see carefully, if B is multiplied with B, the resultant matrix is I. So the inverse of B is B itself. Next I am going to the Cth row. So matrix of C, here I is present. So if I multiply matrix C with C, the resultant matrix is I. Therefore, inverse of C is C itself. So, by observing the composition table, see here what I have done. For every A belong to G, there exists A inverse belong to G such that A into A inverse is equal to I is equal to A inverse into A. That is, by observing the composition table, inverse of A is A itself, inverse of B is B itself, inverse of C is C itself, and inverse of I is I itself. Therefore, every matrix has inverse as itself in set G. Therefore, A into A inverse is, if it is performed, we get 1 0 0 1 is equal to, if A inverse into A is performed, we get 1 0 0 1 for every matrix capital A in set G of matrices. Therefore, here we can easily conclude that G comma into satisfies inverse property with respect to multiplication. So, on the whole, in this property, in this solution part, we have proved that the set G of four matrices is satisfying closure property, associative property, identity property, and inverse property with respect to matrix multiplication. Therefore, we can clearly conclude that G comma into is abelian group with respect to multiplication. Therefore, the set G of matrices which is containing four matrices, it is satisfying closure property, associative property, identity property, and inverse property. Therefore, this set of matrices G is a group with respect to matrix multiplication. Let us move forward to know about two important problems. One is cube roots of unity and the other is fourth roots of unity. Before going to solve those two problems, let us know the important points which are very much related to these two problems. The first note is the set of cube roots of unity is G is equal to 1 omega square, which is set of complex numbers. Right here, 1 is a complex number, Omega is a complex number and omega square is also a complex number, right? The complex number form of 1 omega and omega square will be very much well known in further problems. So let us now consider these three elements as set of complex numbers, right? What I have written it as the set of cube roots of unity, right? Why? Because this one can be written as cube root of 1, that is cube root of unity. And here the second element omega is also written as cube root of 1, that is cube root of unity. Here the third element omega square is also written as cube root of 1, that is cube root of unity. That is why if we calculate or if we take the cube of this omega is equal to cube root of 1 on both sides, therefore we get cube root of we get omega cube is equal to 1, which is very important point which is to be kept in our mind throughout this group theory, right? Omega cube is equal to 1 should be kept in mind very carefully. So let us go for the second node, the set of fourth roots of unity. The set of fourth roots of unity. What is fourth roots of unity? It is taken as set G is equal to 1 minus 1 I minus I. These four elements are also set of complex numbers. And here 1 is treated as complex number, minus 1 is also treated as complex number, I is also treated as complex number, minus I is also treated as complex number. As these elements are taken as fourth root of unity, therefore the first element 1 is written as fourth root of 1, the second element minus 1 is also written as fourth root of 1, the third element I is also written as fourth root of 1, and the fourth element minus I is also written as fourth root of 1. Therefore, if we take I square, that is if I take I square, we get minus 1. If I take I power 4, I square into I square, this I power 4 is written as I square into I square, where I square is minus 1, I square is minus 1, minus into minus 1 gives 1. Therefore, while solving these two problems relating to cube root of unity and fourth root of unity, we have to put these two node points in our mind very much thoroughly, right? Now I am going to solve the sixth problem. See the statement carefully. Show that the set of cube roots of unity is abelian group with respect to multiplication, or the same statement it also can be asked as show that every group of order 4 is always abelian. Order of G is equal to 3, that is the different number of elements in set G are 1 omega square. Therefore I have taken order of G as 3 and the given operation is equal to multiplication. It is also given in the given statement which is to be proved. So it is the special problem which is proved by taking the composition table. So I have taken the composition table, and in this composition table I have taken 1 omega square column wise and 1 omega square as row wise, and the markings, the elements which are inserted in between these margins are the resultant values after multiplying the row wise elements with column wise elements. So the entries of the composition table are 1 omega square, omega square 1, omega square 1 omega. That is the first row elements are 1 into 1, 1 into omega, 1 into omega square is omega square, and the second row elements are omega into 1 is omega into omega square is omega into omega is omega square, omega into omega square is omega cube, where omega into omega square is equal to omega cube as per its property, omega cube is equal to 1. So the second row entries are also finished. Now let us go for the third row entries. Omega square into 1 gives omega square into omega is again omega cube, which is equal to 1. So omega square into omega square is omega power 4, and omega power 4 is written as omega into omega cube, where omega into, instead of omega cube I have taken 1, so omega into 1 gives omega. Therefore all the three rows entries are finished. Now let us move to prove the 5 properties, that is closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property, and commutative property, that is abelian property. Now the first property is closure property. So here we prove this closure property by looking at the entries of the composition table. Right. I write as, since all the entries in the composition table are present in the given set G. That is G contains 1 omega omega square. The first row elements are 1 omega omega square. Second row elements are omega omega square 1. The third row elements are omega square 1 omega. The three elements arranged in different orders in 3 rows are the resultant entries by multiplying the different combinations of 1 omega omega square with 1 omega omega square. Therefore, all the entries of this composition table are again present in set G. Therefore, here we can conclude that G is satisfying the closure property. That is, for every a comma b belong to G, a b belong to G, or a b belong to G for every a comma b belong to G is the property which is being satisfied by the elements of set G. Therefore, here we conclude that G comma into is closed. Now let us enter into the second property, that is associative property. As I have written the important note here that this 1 omega omega square are the set of complex numbers. So we know that the set of complex numbers satisfy associative property with respect to multiplication. Here I conclude directly that as G is set of complex numbers, therefore the set of complex numbers are associative with respect to multiplication. Therefore, G comma into is associative. So it is very simple to prove the associative property while proving this set of cubics of unity as an abelian group. Now let us move to the third important property, that is identity property. We know that with respect to multiplication, 1 is the identity element. So let us see in set G, 1 is present. So 1 is the identity element. Again let us verify whether 1 into the other elements of G give the elements of G or not. Here I have taken the first element as 1. 1 into 1 is 1. The second element is omega. 1 into omega is omega. The third element is omega square. 1 into omega square is omega square. Right. The first element is 1. The second element is omega. The third element is omega square. When these three elements are multiplied with 1, the resultant values are 1 omega omega square. Therefore, 1 belong to G is identity element in set G with respect to multiplication. Therefore, here I conclude that G comma into satisfies identity property. In set G, 1 is the identity element. Right. I will move on to the next property, that is inverse property. From composition table, we observe that 1 into 1 is 1. Omega into omega square is 1. Omega square into omega is 1. Right. What is 1 here? 1 is the identity element which is got in the identity property. Therefore, 1 into 1 gives 1. Here, the inverse of 1 is 1. Here, omega into omega square is 1. Therefore, the inverse of omega is omega square. Here, omega square into omega is 1. Therefore, here, the inverse of omega square is omega. Therefore, for every element in G, there exists one inverse element. Therefore, here, for every A belong to G, there exists an element B belong to G such that A into B is equal to E is equal to B into A. Right. Here, instead of E, 1 is the identity element. Instead of A, if I take 1, its inverse is 1. Instead of A, if I take omega, its inverse is omega square. Instead of A, if I take omega square, its inverse is omega. Therefore, for every element there exists an inverse, multiplied inverse in set G. Therefore, we conclude that G comma into satisfies inverse property. Let us go to the last property, that is abelian property or commutative property. What does commutative property state? Commutative property with respect to multiplication states that AB is equal to BA for every A into B belongs to G. For every A comma B belongs to G. Therefore, the same property is being satisfied here. This property is shown from the composition table. There is a specific statement which is to be given while proving the given set G as abelian group using composition table. Right. In this composition table, I have taken the elements of corresponding rows and the elements of corresponding columns. They are equal. The elements of corresponding rows are equal to the elements of corresponding columns. What does this statement mean? Right. If I enter into this composition table, what are the entries in first row? 1 omega omega square, right? Okay, the elements in the first row are 1 omega omega square. If I see the elements in the first column, 1 omega omega square, right? That is the corresponding elements of first row and the corresponding elements of first column are equal, right? If I go into the second row elements, the second row elements are omega omega square 1. In the same way, if I go to the second column elements, the elements are omega omega square 1. That is the corresponding elements of second row are equal to the corresponding elements of second column. If I go to the third row, the elements are omega square 1 omega. If I go into the third column, the elements are omega square 1 omega. Therefore, the corresponding elements of third row are equal to the corresponding elements of third column. That is why here, by proving this abelian property or commutative property using the composition table, we can prove by writing the statement from composition table the elements of corresponding rows are equal to the elements of corresponding column. Just now I have explained about this statement, how to verify or how to test whether the elements of corresponding rows are equal to the elements of corresponding columns. Therefore, as all the elements of corresponding rows are equal to all the elements of corresponding columns, we conclude that this set G satisfies the commutative property. Therefore, on the whole, we conclude that this set G is a abelian group. Why? Because this set G satisfies closure, associative, identity, inverse, and commutative property with respect to multiplication. So we can conclude that this set of tuplets of UD is an abelian group. Right. Or the second statement. What is second statement given in the question? Every group of order 3 is always abelian. We can also conclude that every group of order 3 is abelian group. In this case, tuplets of UD is abelian group is being proved. So if we go to the next problem, that is problem 7, we have to see the statement carefully. It is show that set of fourth roots of unity is abelian group with respect to multiplication, or we have to show that every group of order 4 is always abelian. So to prove this statement or to prove this problem, we should be well aware about the second note which I have taught just now. Right. If I go into the solution part, let G is equal to 1 minus 1 I minus I be the set of four roots of unity. It is given, and order of G is equal to 4. It is also given. Why? Because there are 4 different elements in given set G. Right. Again, the given operation is general multiplication. Right. Now I am going to prove this problem also using the composition table. Right. Here I will make a mark of all the entries which are got after multiplying all these 4 elements with these 4 elements. I have taken 1 minus 1 I minus I column wise, and I have taken those 4 elements row wise. So if I multiply all these elements all together with all these 4 elements, we will get the entries. The entries are marked in this star marks. Right. The entries are 1 minus 1 I minus I, minus 1 1 minus I 1 I minus I minus 1 1 I minus I 1 minus 1. Right. The entries are entered by taking the multiplication of 1 into 1, 1 into minus 1, 1 into I, 1 into minus I. Right. The second row elements are entered as minus 1 into 1, minus 1 into minus 1, minus 1 into I, and minus 1 into minus I. Right. If I go to the third row entries, I into 1 is I into minus 1 is minus I into I is I square, where I square is equal to minus 1. Right. I into I is I square, it is equal to minus 1, and I into minus I is minus I square, where minus I square minus is written outside of brackets. Instead of I square I have taken minus 1, therefore minus of minus 1 is 1. Therefore I into minus I gives 1. See here, I into minus I is 1. Let us enter the fourth row elements.
minus I into 1 is minus I into minus 1 is I, minus I into I is, see here again, minus I into I is minus I square is minus 1, therefore minus of minus 1 is 1, therefore minus I into I is 1. The last entry, minus I into minus I. See here, I have written the calculation. Minus I into minus I is minus into minus gives plus I into I gives I square, where I square is equal to minus 1. Therefore, minus I into minus I is minus 1. So, all the entries are entered in this composition table. Now, let us go to the properties part, that is closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property under the commutative property. See the closure property. Right, we prove this closure property by seeing the entries of the composition table. As we have written the statement while proving the cube roots of unity, the same statement can be written in this closure property also. See what I have written. Since all the entries in the composition table are present in set G, therefore A cross B belongs to G for every A comma B belong to G. Therefore, G comma into is closed. What does it mean? If we multiply any two elements of given set of fourth roots of unity, again the resultant product is also present in set of cube roots of unity. It is proved or it is seen clearly in this composition table. Therefore, here by writing these two statements itself, we can conclude that G comma into is closed or G comma into satisfies closure property. Right, if I go to the associative property, the same associative property, the same statement is being written while proving the set of cube roots of unity as abelian group. The same statement is being written here also as G is set of complex numbers, and therefore we know that set of complex numbers are associative with respect to multiplication. Therefore, the given set of cube roots of unity is also associative. Therefore, G comma into is associative. See how clearly or how precisely we have proved the associative property. Right, by observing the properties of complex numbers and observing the entries of composition table. Right. If I go to the next property, here in this question itself, the operation is multiplication. As soon as the operation multiplication is seen, we have to remember or recall the identity element as 1 with respect to multiplication. And if we enter into the set of cube roots of unity, definitely the first element is 1. Therefore, 1 is multiplicative identity element. As G is containing multiplicative identity element, we can directly write it as the set G is satisfying identity property with respect to multiplication. Right. So from composition table, I am taking the first element as 1. 1 into 1 is 1. The second element is minus 1. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. The third element is I. 1 into I is I. And the fourth element is minus 1. Therefore, 1 into minus I is minus I. So, when 1 minus 1, I minus I are multiplied with 1, when multiplied with 1, we get 1 minus 1, I minus I. Therefore, 1 belong to G is the identity element in set G with respect to multiplication. Therefore, G comma cross satisfies identity property, or here we can conclude that G, the set of cube roots of unity, satisfies the identity property with respect to multiplication. The next property is inverse property. From composition table, if I take the first element 1, the second element minus 1, the third element I, and the fourth element as minus I, for every element in G, there exists one element such that if they are operated, we get identity element. So 1 into 1 is 1, minus 1 into minus 1 is 1, I into minus I is 1, minus I into I is 1. Therefore, in the first equation, inverse of 1 is 1 itself. In second equation, inverse of minus 1 is minus 1. Instead of inverse of I is minus I. Instead of inverse of minus I is I. Right. Therefore, here we write it as for every A belong to G, there is an element B belong to G such that
AB into E is equal to B into A. It is the standard representation of inverse property. Therefore, here we conclude that G comma into satisfies inverse property. The next property is commutative property. So, to prove the commutative property, we once again refer the composition table. The entries are in this way. So, from composition table, the elements of corresponding rows are equal to the elements of corresponding columns. Right. Let us verify this statement whether it is true or false. Right. If I go to the entries part, right, the first row elements are 1 minus 1, I minus I. In the same way, the first column elements are 1 minus 1, I minus I. Therefore, the corresponding elements of first row are equal to the corresponding elements of first column. Now I go to the second row. The second row elements are minus 1, 1, minus I. In the same way, the second column elements are minus 1, 1, minus I. Therefore, the corresponding elements of second row are equal to the corresponding elements of second column. Now I go to the third row elements. The third row elements are I, minus 1, 1. In the same way, the third column elements are I, minus 1, 1. Therefore, the corresponding elements of third row are equal to the corresponding elements of third column. Now I go for verifying the fourth row elements. The fourth row elements are minus I, 1, minus 1. In the same way, the fourth column elements are minus I, 1, minus 1. Therefore, the corresponding elements of fourth row are equal to the corresponding elements of fourth column. Therefore, from composition table itself, by referring the entries under the corresponding elements of all the rows and all the columns, we conclude that this G comma into is satisfying the commutative property. So, on the whole, this given set G, which is the set of cubits of unity, is satisfying the commutative property. In reverse I go: commutative property, inverse property, identity property, associative property, and closure property. Therefore, this G, which is set of fourth roots of unity, is an abelian group. Now I proceed for the next important operations, which are special binary operations in groups. They are, first suppose the first special binary operation is defined by A dot B is equal to A plus B plus 1 for every A comma B belong to Z. The second binary operation is A star B defined by AB by 3 for every A comma B belong to Q plus. Here Q plus represents positive rational numbers. Positive rational numbers. Right. The third special binary operation is defined by A star B is equal to AB by 2 for every A comma B belong to Q plus. The Q plus here also represents as positive rational numbers. Right. The fourth special binary operation is A star B is equal to A plus B plus AB for every A comma B belong to Q. Here Q is set of all rational numbers other than minus 1. Right. That is, the set of rational numbers other than minus 1 is defined by Q minus of minus 1. Right. From the set of rational numbers, we exclude this minus 1. That is, here it is written as for every A comma B belongs to Q minus of minus 1. It represents the set of rational numbers other than minus 1. Right. So, let us deal with the problems relating to these four binary operations. Right. The eighth problem gives a problem with respect to first binary operation, which is a special binary operation A dot B is equal to A plus B plus 1 for every A comma B belongs to Z. See here, see the statement carefully. Show that the set I, where I is of all integers with binary operation dot defined by A dot B is equal to A plus B plus 1 for every A comma B belong to I is an abelian group. Here we have to keep in mind three important aspects. One is set, the other one is operation, and the third one is what is to be proved. So the given set is set of all integers. The second operation is A dot B is equal to A plus B plus 1 And the third one is we have to prove that the set I, which is set of all integers, is abelian group with respect to this
special binary operation.
Right. What is an abelian group? Again, if we recall, the abelian group is the group which satisfies closure, associative, identity, inverse and commutative property with respect to given operation. Right. So, if we go to the solution part, first we have to write the given set. I is equal to set of all integers is equal to z. Set of integers are generally denoted by the capital letter z. Therefore, I have taken I as z. Therefore, I is equal to, it takes all the negative integers including -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3 and all positive integers. Right. And next I have taken the given binary operation is a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1 for every a comma b belong to I. Right. Given part is completed. If I go to the first property, closure property P1. Right. As per verification, I conclude directly that a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1 belongs to I for every a comma b belongs to I. So what does this state? If I take any two integers and if I substitute in a dot b, that is, it should be operated by first integer plus second integer plus 1. So the resultant integer, the resultant value should be again an integer. So for that I have taken one example. The first integer a, instead of a I have taken 1, instead of second integer b I have taken -2 and I substituted in a dot b. A dot b, that is 1 dot -2 is equal to a plus b plus 1. So instead of a I wrote 1, instead of b I wrote -2 and instead of plus 1 it is this thing. So 1 plus of -2 plus 1. So 1 plus of -2 plus 1 gives 1 plus 1 gives 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. Therefore 1 dot of -2 is equal to 0 belongs to I. Set of integers contain a neutral integer 0. Therefore on operating 1 dot of -2 with a plus b plus 1, the resultant value is again an integer. The resultant value here in this example is 0, which is present in set of integers. For 1 comma -2 belong to I. Therefore here with this example and with this, as per verification, a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1 belongs to I. For every a comma b belong to I conclude that I comma dot is closed. I comma dot is closed. That is, I satisfies closure property with respect to given binary operation. A dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1 for every a comma b belong to I. So we should go to the next property, that is associative property. We consider the left hand side of associative property with respect to multiplication. See here it is the left hand side part of associative property. I considered a dot of b dot c. That's right. A dot of b dot c. Here b dot c is in the form of a dot b. So what does a dot b state? A dot b gives a plus b plus 1. So instead of b dot c, I should write it as b plus c plus 1. Right. Here again it is in form of a dot b. Instead of b, all that value should be taken, b plus c plus 1. So it is in form of a dot b. So it is written as a plus b plus 1 as per given special binary operation. Right. So if I take brackets off, we get a plus b plus c plus 1 plus 1. Right. So 1 plus 1 gives 2. The whole resultant value is a plus b plus c plus 2. So on the whole, for left hand side value of associative property, a dot of b dot c, we have got the value as a plus b plus c plus 2. We consider the right hand side part of associative property with respect to multiplication. Right. Here I considered a dot b of dot c is equal to a dot b can be written as a plus b plus 1 as per our given special binary operation. Right. Dot c. Again here, if I take or if I consider whole of this a plus b plus 1 as one single element, dot c. So it is in the form of a dot b. So if it is applied for this new binary operation a plus b plus 1, instead of a we have to take a plus b plus 1, instead of b we have to take c and plus 1. Therefore it is written as a plus b plus 1. Instead of a we have got a plus b plus 1, instead of b we have got c and instead of 1 we have got 1. So 1 plus 1 gives 2. So on the whole we have got a plus b plus c plus 2. So right hand side value is a dot b of c dot c. We have got it as a dot a plus b plus c dot 2 plus 2. Therefore, the left hand side value is the same and right hand side value is the same. Therefore, a dot of b dot c is equal to a dot b of dot c for every a comma b comma c belongs to set of integers I. Therefore, here we can conclude that I dot is associative. That is, I satisfies associative property with respect to given binary operation dot. We have to go to the identity property. As in previous problems, I have told you that we should be very much cautious while proving identity property and inverse property. Why? Because we have to find out the identity element from the set of integers with respect to this new binary operation dot defined by a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. So while proving this, let us consider E belongs to I as one identity element such that as per identity property a dot E is equal to a. So I consider this property for finding the identity element E value. Right. So on left hand side a dot E, if I apply this for this binary operation a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1, we get it as a plus e plus 1 is equal to a. So if I send this a to right hand side, it becomes minus a, and on right hand side we get a minus a as 0. On left hand side we are reminded with e plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore value of e is minus 1. So here we have to search very carefully that minus 1 is present in set of integers I or not. Definitely it is present in set of integers I. Therefore, E is equal to minus 1 belongs to set of integers I is identity element. So here we can conclude that I dot satisfies identity property with respect to given binary operation dot defined by a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. Let us verify whether this minus 1 is identity element or not. So I take a as 3 and I substitute value of a and value of e in identity property. A dot e is equal to 3 into minus 1, where 3 into minus 1 can be written as 3 plus of minus 1 plus 1 as per given binary operation a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. Instead of a it is 3, instead of b it is minus 1. Therefore 3 dot of minus 1 is equal to 3 plus 0 is equal to 3. So here a dot e is equal to a. This property is being satisfied by this example. A is equal to 3 and for e equal to minus 1. Therefore definitely here we can conclude that e is equal to minus 1 is identity element with respect to given operation dot, which is defined by a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. If we proceed for the next property, that is inverse property, here also while proving inverse property we should be very much careful. Why? Because for every element A, if we take some integers, we have to find out one inverse element B in the same set of integers. Therefore further, for A belongs to I, let there exist B belong to I such that AB is equal to E. I considered this statement as true. So that is A belongs to I, let for this A belongs to I there exists B belongs to I such that A dot B is equal to E. So it is what is this? It is inverse property. Here B will be inverse of A and A will be inverse of B and E is identity element. So in identity property instead of E we have got minus 1, right? Here E will be replaced with minus 1. A dot B is equal to minus 1. A dot B is defined by A plus B plus 1 is equal to minus 1, right? If I send this plus 1 to right hand side, it will become minus 1. Therefore minus 1 gives minus 2 on right hand side, and on left hand side it is remained with a plus b. So a plus b will be equal to minus 2. We need the value of b as b is inverse of a. Therefore we take the value of b as minus 2. This a is sent to right hand side, it becomes minus a. Therefore inverse of a will be in the form of b, which will be minus 2 minus a. So let us verify this inverse property, that is a dot b should be e. So a dot b, value of b is minus 2 minus a. A dot of minus 2 minus a is equal to a plus of minus 2 minus a plus 1. It is taken from the property a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. Instead of a, it is a, instead of b, it is minus 2 minus a, right? If I take brackets of we get a minus 2 minus a plus 1. As a and minus a are additive inverses, we can cancel those both a and minus a, right? Minus 2 plus 1 gives minus 1, right? Therefore, a dot b gives minus 1. As it is inverse property, right? Therefore, definitely this b is equal to minus 2 minus a is inverse of a. Therefore, inverse property is being satisfied, and if I take a from I, its inverse will be equal to minus 2 minus a. Right. Therefore, here I conclude that a belongs to I, there is b belongs to I such that ab is equal to minus 1. Therefore, I dot satisfies inverse property. So, I repeat once again, while proving the identity property and inverse property, be very much cautious while finding identity element and while finding the inverse element of given element A. What does commutative property state? For a comma b belongs to I, ab should be equal to ba. Right. Now I consider the left hand side part of commutative property with respect to given binary operation dot. A dot b is equal to, by given operation a dot b can be written as a plus b plus 1. This a plus b can be written as b plus a plus 1. Right. Therefore, a dot b is equal to b dot a, as b plus a plus 1 can be written as b dot a from the given binary operation dot defined by a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. Right. A dot b is equal to b dot a. For every a comma b belong to I is being satisfied by the elements of integers I. Therefore, I dot satisfies commutative property. Therefore, I capital I, the set of integers is satisfying closure property, associative property, identity property, inverse property, commutative property with respect to given binary operation dot, which is defined by a dot b is equal to a plus b plus 1. Therefore, I dot is an abelian group.